So we talked the other day on the floor briefly. Just want to take opportunity to talk coaching moments, really. I think even, all of us coaches get coaching and do coaching, but one of my goals is, as the company's growing and as we move into the new spot, is to help the team grow more. So, I'm always there as a soft tissue resource, but I geek out on sports psychology. As I told you before, I wanted to be the nutrition guy, not here, way back in the day, and I just have no drive for it. But I get so excited about sport mentality and that kind of thing. So I wanted to ask a couple questions regarding goals and mindset, most importantly in preparation to the massive 500-pound bench. So one, how long was that? I know you said that was a lifetime goal, but how old were you when you first thought, I am going to bench press 500 pounds?
I told my parents when I was 10 years old, and they said that was the stupidest thing I've ever heard. The first thing my dad said was like, "You were going to be so unfunctional, you're going to hate your life, you're not going to be able to scratch your own head." I can do some of that.
Some of it.
But yeah, they kind of railed me for it a little bit, and most of my friends that I told it to kind of said the same thing, like, you're 130, or no, I was like 95 pounds back then.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it became more and more reality as I got older, but even as I graduated high school, most people were like, yeah, fucking right.
Well, I mean, as much, I don't have kids, but if I did, and one of them was 10 years old and said all of a sudden randomly wanted to bench press 500 pounds, what the fuck is wrong with you? It's not going to happen. This isn't a thing you can do yet.
Especially because that little pig belly. Right?
So you stuck with that goal. Now, when you first started training with us at Kabuki, way back when, we were both a lot smaller and our goals were different. You were wrestling, I was still fighting a bunch. About that time, you don't give super accurate, but what was your bench press when you started with us?
Probably an ugly 335, and that was ass coming a foot up off the bench, right. just bouncing the chest. Pause, if it was a true powerlifting comp style bench press, probably would have been just below 3.
And so again, you put on a bunch of mass since then, but that's not where I want to go with my topic to try to help you get better as an athlete today. But at what point in time, or let me ask this differently, when you are the last meet, my client was there, Brady was there coaching you. Remind me what you pressed at that meet.
The highest bench I got was 440, but there's that 474 miss that was very close, a little rough.
So let's just start mindset from then. You hit a 440-ish bench, might have been that on the nose, smoked it, I remembered it, almost smoked 470. I expected you to hit it. But let's just say 440 to 470 bench. Did that really spark the, I don't know what the right words I'm looking for, but did that really push you over the edge to hit that 500? Was that close enough where you're like, now we're going to go? Because I've seen your training change a little bit. You really did the work to hit this 500-pound bench.
Yeah, it really pissed me off, to be honest. I just felt like I lost position. I could have had it. I was a lot stronger than my numbers perceived. Right. I knew I was capable of it, so I really took an objective look at what are the things I can improve in my bench press. And the first one was starting position. My starting position was not very good. Leg drive was not going to implement. So I noticed I had a lot of those issues, started studying other really good powerlifters, and started understanding what I need to do to make the changes to give myself the opportunity to go over that lifetime goal of 500 plus.
So let's get into the meat of the questions that I had for you today. The week before 500, I saw a difference in you walking around the gym. That week you were game day. Saw your post. Nutrition, I'm guessing, was pretty on point that week.
Yeah.
Sleep was pretty on point that week. Training was on point. It happened to come together, and we blasted into the 500-pound club pretty easy, and then went 515 with some room, right? We were talking, we're like, there's probably 535 in there right now, and a couple more good weeks, and there's a 550 bench in there if we peaked for this. So the real question for you is on goal setting. And I've struggled with this before, that's why I wanted to ask you, because it's fresh. The week you hit 515, everything was a perfect storm. As we know in powerlifting, doesn't always work.
Yeah.
But the sleep was there, you said, the nutrition was there. I saw the mindset, it was there. The following week, what was different? Let's just start with nutrition. Did you do anything different nutrition-wise?
Yeah, so I immediately noticed that I actually probably lost about 1.5 pounds between the 515 and the following week, and my goal was actually to do the opposite. I want to continue to gain calorie surplus and gain and give myself a better opportunity to bench press heavier weights and a little more hypertrophy, obviously. So that was the biggest thing I noticed. Nutrition, without a question, didn't track all days, took the weekend off. Was kind of on a high, just thought lifetime goal, finally got it.
I have to jump back to that in a second. It was that high, right?
Yeah, big time. It was that high, which is that high, awesome to live through, awesome to go through.
Great.
But at the same time, it can be detrimental because, like you said, after that bench press, I thought, 550, we're going to get it.
Yeah.
We're blowing past that goal. 500 thing of the past, already got it, 550.
I'm already a 500 bencher. I'm now a 550 bencher.
Yeah, with how fast the 550 moved, I definitely thought it was a reality. But
I still think you got it in you. We just have to do it.
But the nutrition just wasn't there. And then a bigger point was the mentality.
How was sleep?
Sleep was all right. Sleep was pretty good.
So I know you're pretty consistent with that. It's not my strong point right now. But so nutrition off a little bit. So you kind of already said it, but I'll just ask it, I guess, in the way I perceived it, and something I've struggled with before. The example, the first time I pulled over 6, we were in good training. I finally hit it, goals for years and years and years to do it, stuck underneath it. It was in the gym, whatever, finally pulled over 600, and I really wanted, because I thought I was a 630, 650 puller, and I really wanted to do it. And then the next 2 weeks, I just slacked off, and I barely even trained. Because when I left that day, I still had accessory work to do, and I was so hyped that I finally did it because I had missed it so many times. I threw my belt across the gym. I walked out. I walked around for like 30 minutes and was like, I am God. I am now a 600-pound puller. This life, not a huge pull, but for me, it was a lifetime goal, right? And so I didn't even finish my workout. I didn't put in the work because I was already there in my mind. I was strong enough. And then the next 2 weeks, training was subpar because I was like, well, I already hit my goal. Yeah. I know I got more in me. We all know I got more in me. And then I had to rinse, repeat, and recycle, and it was a long time later before I finally pulled sub 700. And if I would have stayed consistent, life factors for me and a lot of other things, but if I would have stayed consistent on that warpath I was on, I could be a 750, closer to 800-pound puller by now. Maybe, who knows? So what in your words was different? And it's not necessarily a cocky thing, because a little bit of being cocky is great. It's great to be able to hit a 515 bench and be like, shit, I'm a 550 bencher. Some of that mentality is there. But was your, did you slack on your, not programming, did you slack on your mentality and nutrition a little bit because you already thought you had it in the bag because 515 went so well?
Big time. When every single person in the gym looks at you and says, hey, that 515 was easy, you likely got 550 in it, you're like, oh, hell yeah, I do. You're right. Hell yeah. So that's exactly the case that happened. Nutrition just did not go very well. More importantly, I went from training with the utmost intent and trying to kill every single workout to getting through it, to just getting through it. And mentality definitely wasn't there. And when you get done with something like that, when you get done with a PR, lifetime PR that meant so much to you, you literally cry afterwards. Like, that's how much it means to you. The drive to get 10 pounds over when you didn't plan to, or 15 pounds over, whatever it may be, just isn't the same. Just is not the same. So that's why going into next week, I would like to say maybe I peaked, didn't peak. Maybe I peaked the week before.
Sure.
Maybe nutrition wasn't there, but I really do think that a bigger point was actually the mentality.
Yep, and I did too. And now we can always say, like, programming, we know you were fatigued coming into last week, whatever it was. And in strength, you can have good days and bad days. Obviously, that's why we like velocity training. But sometimes it's just the mentality. And I saw a difference in your drive walking around the gym. So pressing today, right? Hopefully it's another big, great day. But for me, I'm actually going to flip this around and try to learn from you in this experience, because I've struggled with this a lot. But if I was to coach you, you're not on my roster directly, but as a team here, if I was to give you a coaching moment from that, I would have pulled you aside afterwards and said, you're not done. So don't effing give up, right?
Yeah.
Stay focused. What you did last week, do more of it the next 2 weeks. Because I've been there before. Do not slack on one bottle of water. Do not slack on your sleep. Don't get hurt and keep going, but you cannot lose that focus because you are that good and you don't even know how good you can be. So in your words though, because I've struggled with it a lot, so I may not be the best to give advice, what can you tell me to help my athletes if I see them go through that. Let's say they're training for a meet, for a random example, and in their goal is 600-pound squat, and they're hitting 600 for 3 a couple weeks out, and they're like, I got this in the bag. I'm a 650 squatter now. What advice going through this recently do you have for me that I can give my clients to help keep them focused?
The biggest thing is the fight's not over. The fight's not over. The second you lose that big moment, the second you lose that fire up on your ass, it's just not going to be there. It's not going to be there. We can talk about the neurological aspect of it and how much it helps you to kind of get in that right mind space. But furthermore, nutrition falls off the end. Furthermore, maybe you start drinking a little bit more because you got it in the bag. Little things like that accumulate, and when you don't have the same mentality, maybe you drink a little bit more, maybe you get a little more refined sugar in you, maybe your calories aren't there, maybe your sleep's not there. Those things, even a 1% difference in all those things, add up, and right before you do that weight, you're going to know, I didn't do everything right this week. That's scary. That'll put some fear in you. That will make it so that your mentality is guaranteed not to be there. So I would just say the fight's not over. Keep that fire lit under you, and just execute.
Awesome. Well, as both of us in some form of fighting sports in the fighting realm, I think most of my clients, even if they're not fighters, they know me for that. So that's what I'm gonna tell them. Fight's not over. So for you, the fight's not over.
Fight's not over.
You may not have had the best week prepping, but from now until 4 o'clock, you better get fired up and get that fight ready. Let's go smash a big bench.